What is your guys? It's about Redowan. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Now with me, we have got Bjorn. You guys know him, and we've got John Dale. So we've got John Dale, and we are the GRiDlock Diecast show. So in the last episode, we actually had a very special guest over, right?
Very special.
If you guys know, it was a very special episode to me, and we really had a lot of fun filming the episode. Now, if you guys remember, or you guys haven't seen the video yet, please go check the video out.
Check it out.
Right, it's
down
in
below in the description box.
Down below.
For those who watched it and came back, welcome back.
But welcome back, right?
If you just watched it, we're right here.
But essentially, we had Gabriel. So Gabriel, welcome back to the episode, right?
I've been here all this time.
Well, technically, you know, we kind of filmed it on the same day. But welcome back for a second episode. This was definitely not in the plans, but right, it was a last minute thing.
The best things come from spontaneity.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
And essentially, today, what the four of us here kind of want to discuss is about our experience at the Malaysia Diecast Expo. Now,
obviously, I had a better experience than Alden.
now this was held in KL this year.
KL,
was our second time running. Funny enough, the previous year when I went, it was actually my first official event. That's my first event with you as well.
Yeah. Last year was my first time too.
It was very interesting. I remember seeing you there as well. We had a conversation. So
Yeah, people were asking for autographs. He stopped me. I was like,
No, I was like, I know you, but you know.
who are you again? Oh yeah, the only white guy in Singapore that's doing diecast.
But essentially, so we went last year, and then this year we kind of made a decision to go back again, right? And so today's episode is all about
Our experience?
Yeah, it's about
Our experience on the show?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So
Maybe our experience on shows in general, not to nitpick on MDX. I think
Sure.
yeah.
and also the reason why we have Gabriel here today for this episode is because, as you guys saw in the trophy and in the previous video, right, he actually took part and won the customizer competition in MDX this year. So essentially, you know, he's gonna shed light on a topic that we probably have no idea.
Nope.
And that
No
is
idea. I didn't participate.
Yeah.
I didn't even stay for the competition.
Exactly, and it's about the custom competition.
Yeah.
So before we get into the custom bits, I just want to know your experience in the general, just kind of like the whole event itself, and then I want to hear.
What was it like as a customizer to go?
How was
And
it?
then I want to hear the two of you as well.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're gonna head back onto the customizer the customizer comp aspect. Right. So, Gabe, firstly, how was your experience in the event?
Yeah. So I think my perspective is gonna be one of me, Bjorn, and Redowan also did another video about this as well previously. So my perspective is going to be both as a collector and a customizer, sort of coming into the show. So I thought MDX was overall kind of fun, and I had a great experience in terms of like meeting the diecast community in Singapore and Malaysia and all that. And it was cool to just to see people interact with these two of you, a lot more famous than I am. But
You only said two. I got more autographs signed than all you guys.
sure, yeah.
How many of them were gun?
It was all myself. I signed all my own papers.
Yeah. No, but I thought there were so many exclusives, and it was really fun to sort of see everybody get really excited for everything. I will say it was also, to be very honest, kind of a curse as well. I mean, I think it was everyone was just gutting for all the exclusives, and it really stressed everyone out.
It was a buyer's event.
Yes, it was
It was an event. I think that's the reason why we're even having this episode. It was my kind of event.
Yes.
I look at the whole entire industry and I see like dollar signs because it's like I can sell something that I also love to collect. As you guys, when you come to the shop and stuff, like you've seen the stuff that I like. So maybe that's the reason why I have a bit of a contrasted outlook on the way this event was. And you know what? Gabe's gonna tell some about his experience about how the customizing was pros and cons of this, and the guys are gonna talk about how they may have liked something about it. But honestly, from my perspective, we're gonna have to queue regardless. But this and that, and so I can't nitpick all the tiny stuff I really didn't like because there was more things that I did like. And the aspect of waiting or things like this or all this kind of stuff, I'm like, I don't have a problem with it. I like the fact that there was tons of exclusives. I like the fact that we had an awesome dinner and the brands, the CEOs and creators of those brands came to sign stuff for us. And when it comes down to it, it's about dollars and cents. I pay so much to come to the event. I have to shell out so much for that all my customers get the cool cars that they missed out on. Now I get to bring in Singapore, and now I'm able to provide a service to my clients that they weren't able to provide themselves. So from a consumer perspective, 10 out of 10. Bang on. You hit the nail on the head. But the other half is the collector side. And I think that's the reason why you guys maybe didn't have as much fun as I did. Is because you had to just queue up, and you're only there for one piece of yourself. And you had to shell out so much freaking money. And I know there was a lot of agitated people because the people were in queue since like
fights.
2 a.m. There were fights. There were people arguing.
I have a
I'm
video
just like,
that I
bro, like,
sampled for them.
cool down. And there was, it was hot. Yeah. And I think that's the reason why like some people had different kind of outlooks on the event. And that's gonna go with every event you guys go to, but this one was one of our biggest throughout the year so far. And it was just kind of like 50% of people, yay, 50% nay.
How about you, Bjorn? What's your opinion or kind of experience on this event?
Okay, so I mean, I think I've been memeing on it a lot. Whenever you mention MDX, I'm like, but you know what? John did shed some light and opened me also. It's like, okay, looking back, I actually really enjoy myself. Like, I don't look back and when people tell me, hey, how's MDX? I won't be like, screw that. I actually had fun. I think mainly because of the people, the company is what made it fun.
But you have fun because of the people.
The people, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for the event,
I am the
you know,
people. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but not wrong. Like people like Redowan, Gabriel, you know,
Yeah.
we're all out there.
For sure.
Yeah, so like I really did have. I mean, if it wasn't for the event, then we all wouldn't go there, lah, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But also, as John already mentioned, I'm not gonna touch up on it more. John already mentioned the queuing up and everything. As collectors, I haven't sold a single of my exclusive car from my collection. I've always kept it.
That's cool.
So
That's
I don't
cool.
plan on selling it. So I feel like wow, it took so much effort to.
Yeah,
I didn't see
because
the
there's no
dollar sign
return
for me.
on the money and
Yeah,
effort
it
you
was
put in.
purely time.
Right.
So that's why I feel a sense of like loss, like what the heck? And there's some cars I didn't manage to get. And,
I totally get it. If I had to put the show on the other foot, I would also agree with you. I would say that a lot of disorganized, and it doesn't just come down to that event because I've done lots of events since I've lived in Singapore over the last year, and I have very much the same contrasted outlook. If I'm only there as a custom, like a collector,
Right.
then I'm like,
not
oh wow, I'm like, I did all the effort to get two
One
cars,
car, yeah.
or I didn't get the early bird pass at the Mini GT queue, and I had to queue up for 3 hours, and all I got was 2 cars. That make anybody's head explode. But yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, I personally, right, I think it started like we did go last year, and last year wasn't so bad of an experience,
last year was so
right?
much more chill.
Right,
bro.
It was pretty chill.
It was so chill,
The
yeah.
vibes were
And
completely
so I
different.
Yeah,
think
it was so different.
So I think the biggest thing is the mentality. I think I was not ready. So for those who don't know, Bjorn and Gabriel actually flew in. I drove in, so I actually drove the night, and I reached a place like earlier, about 4
I
a.m.
told him to leave earlier.
So I reached, and then what happened was I reached the mall at about 7 a.m. and the queue number that was already there was like at about 800.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Right.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I did math.
Guys got there at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
That the night like
People brought
morning
sleeping
of.
bags.
Crazy.
And so the thing is, this is the Diecast Expo, right? It's like what John said. It's a it felt like a
It's a
buyer's
buyer show.
event,
It
right?
was a buyer show.
But
Yeah.
I feel like that's not the whole purpose of
It's
the
not
Expo, right?
supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be, but at the same time, it's like we need to have shows that have a lot of balance.
Yeah,
So if you took the negative impacts that it made on your experience and you added in the 5 other shows you went to this year, let's just say you went to 5, and you added those and then you rated the whole year of shows, you wouldn't be disappointed because you would say that some are more consumer, collector, and some are more for a purpose of like selling and stuff like that. Because he sells too, so it's like if you make some money throughout the year, but you also had content to create, but then you also had good experience on this show and this show, then you look back in your year and you're like, 2024, that actually was a really good year. But individually, horrible.
Yeah, I mean no. That,
And it's like,
don't get me wrong.
yeah.
The event was amazing. But what made the event amazing isn't the event itself.
No, the
And-
people.
Yeah. So
100%,
I think that's one way to kind of put it. I met a lot of people.
Yeah.
Props to Drifter, props to Bjorn. He did introduce me to a lot of people, right? Like Project 64, for example.
Rafa, shout
Right,
out. I miss
Rafa.
you. We didn't leave you.
I'll see you very soon in the Diecast Expo in Singapore. But essentially, we also met a lot of people. We met 164 Daniel Haziq there as well, right? He was nice to help us queue for the
Shout
emails
out,
and
bro.
stuff. So thank you. But then the thing is, you know, with that we met a lot of people,
Ministry
right?
of Diecast, shout
We-
out.
Should I guys?
He was there.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the best thing in my.
He was there.
Yeah, and you know the fact, and he followed me on Instagram, and that was just insane. But the thing is, essentially, it's what made the event special.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we never met John at the event. I think it was once or twice, right?
I think I saw you, like-
know,
Yeah.
And we had
Because we all kind of showed up at different times,
Yeah.
and like I was there. I think I even showed up like early in the morning. I thought I was gonna be like, maybe there's like 50 people in front of me. No. When I got there was still hundreds of people in
Yeah,
front of
so-
me, and I was like, wow. But you know, it's like I don't know how to see that on a negative side. I really can't be pessimistic about the enthusiasm behind it because it's kind of exciting at the same time. Like with the collectors that are out there, A, to make money or just to have fun, regardless what fight started, how people pushed each other,
Gabriel
who
has a
spat
video.
on who,
Gabriel has a
how many
video.
fights that, how many people Gabriel had to beat up to get to the front of the line.
You have a video of it, right?
Yeah, I do. I
Nice,
do.
nice.
Yeah. So no, here's the thing. Yes, it did get messy,
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna say the event was a total disaster.
No.
Yes, there were
No.
negatives, right?
yeah.
I think we covered the negatives in a video that I did in my own channel. But the thing, essentially, what I want to say is, overall, it was amazing because I did meet a lot of new people.
Yeah.
I think the networking aspect was brilliant.
The idea of everybody coming together at all
Yeah.
to take time out of our way and to come
Yeah.
to a single show, that's what makes it and breaks like a
But
good
I'm
show.
gonna cut you there. Unfortunately, my only kind of like negatives out of this that I really hate is some people, even after they queued the entire day, they
Yeah.
could not get the exclusives.
Yeah.
But there were also groups of people who had like 10, 20 bags of exclusives with them.
Yeah.
And this is not some made up lie. In fact, after the first night, when I reached the hotel, there were this couple that were in the lobby, and they had 5 or 10 bags of the Eno 64 models,
Nice.
where I couldn't even
Holy
get
hell.
one.
Yeah.
And so that made me kind of frustrated because, I know it's good. I mean, we spent the entire day queuing. I mean, me and Bjorn, we were together with Gabriel.
Yeah.
We queued up for about 4 hours in the morning.
Yeah.
Right, and then we got so hungry we had to leave the queue just to go for
Because
lunch.
it wasn't
Yeah.
moving.
It wasn't
It
moving at
really
all.
wasn't moving.
On top of that, someone accused me of cutting the queue after standing there for 2 hours,
Wow.
and that got into a little confrontation as well. So, yes, it's a big event. I know you've got people from Mini GT coming in. Marchi was there as well,
Not true, sorry,
right?
Yeah.
So you've got all these big brands. You've got their kind of like the owners, the CEOs coming over.
Yeah, Kato,
I just feel like
Rock.
you gotta work on the orientation of how everything flows. Right?
Which I think is going to come down to just the management and the organization of it all. Like, I think there was only one small little 4 foot tall auntie guarding the door so that people don't jump in.
Yeah.
So then other
Yeah,
people
yeah.
had to come in and literally pull people out of line saying, what are you doing in line? But they never knew who. They just thought, oh, you don't have a queue number in your hand? You must be cutting the queue.
Get out.
We're like, yeah, just because they don't have a queue number doesn't mean they don't have it. They weren't here waiting for
Yeah.
hours on end. Like it was difficult because, like for myself, I was queuing and I had to organize with D-Model and Tiny to work on the projects they would work. So I had to show up early and I had to leave my spot in line. But all of a sudden, everybody given a queue number, and then guess who didn't get a queue number?
Who?
Me. I didn't get a queue number.
Oh,
They just skipped right over me. They skipped
no.
over me, and I'm just like, so I'm like, okay, what do I do? And it's like, things like that become challenging, and it's like, you wait for so long, and then if you get forget, if you don't give up queue numbers. But in the end, and this is the reason why a lot of people got angry, is people who never got queue numbers at all, or people who did they get queue numbers, they were just going from like spot 800 to like spot 80,
Yeah.
and they would just cut over. And then the auntie, the 4 foot tall little auntie guarding the door, she couldn't do nothing because the
couldn't do
people were
anything.
mad
Yeah.
rushing the door. So at this point in time, it's like, screw it. Let's just let them all in. And of course, then it made everybody really agitated. And I can see why that'd be so frustrating.
Both days they did that, all hell broke loose.
Yeah, it's
because
just
mad.
it was.
That's crazy.
But the second day actually, for the Mini GT queue, they actually made it a little better. They give us queue numbers. Remember, you got a queue number. We both got a queue number as
Yeah.
well.
What was it? 300 something?
We were 200 and something.
Holy hell.
But the thing is, they kind of managed to control the line. They had like so-called checkpoints at 2 different areas, right? They kept on checking your number. If it's the wrong number, get out of here.
Wow.
So they were a lot stricter in the second day. But I feel like if they had that same level of strictness in the first day,
Yeah.
then the event would have flowed a lot smoother.
Yeah.
I think right now in Asia, events like the IDE, the Indonesia Diecast Expo, is
Yeah.
massive. But following that, I think the MDX is one. I think MDX is one of the biggest events right now. I mean, we had people from Mexico, right? Mini City, Mexico
That's
coming
right,
over.
they were there. That's
Alonso was
We
there.
had Johnny's Diecast, right?
Southern Diecast,
Germany.
Australians.
We had Southern Diecast.
Yeah.
That came, right?
Yeah, Southern
Obviously, Mizo
Diecast,
Diecast was there.
Yeah.
Rafa from Indonesia was there as well.
Yes,
So we've got international guests. So it's a massive event, right?
Yes, yeah.
So if we have the proper kind of like queue management, right?
Yeah.
Then I think the event is going to be a blockbuster of an event. And
I think if they did do the queue system a bit better, nobody had to queue up and wait.
Yeah.
So if you want your spot, cool. At this time and time, you got 1 through 100. Okay, you're gonna be able to
Yes,
come in here
yeah.
at exactly this time to
Yeah.
this time. This is your queue.
Yeah.
So if you missed out, it's okay if you belong to the earlier number
Yeah.
queue. Just come when you're ready, but you don't have to stand there.
Yeah.
And then no aircon in the mall until what, 10 a.m. or something
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
horrible.
So
Yeah.
all of us were
Yeah.
dying of
Yeah.
heat,
Yeah.
and it was brutal.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't blame the event organizers; it's the mall that handles
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's saying, why do we have to queue in line and get a queue number?
exactly.
Just get your queue number,
And
go to
then
the
go-
mall, go have your breakfast, and then come back at 11
Yeah.
o'clock, whatever it's going to be, and that's it.
Yeah, this is here.
But,
Like,
Um,
why? Like, it kind of blew my mind that, like,
Yeah.
everybody's waiting in line, and then all of a sudden they're like, but you have to stand here and wait.
But
Well,
I
what's the
think
point?
at the end of the day, it's because it's still a very new event in a sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe growing
So-
pains, you're going to, like,
Because
you know.
our opinions here actually are very chill. I gotta be honest, I did see a lot of opinions on
People
Facebook.
were livid.
They were brutal.
That's the
man.
reason why there was fights and
Yeah.
arguing. There was people that were in front of me in the queue, and they were arguing with event coordinators. Some for good reasons, some for not so good reasons, but all because everybody was hot and agitated and tired, and they had to wake up way too early for this event, or they just came in from somewhere far, so they're already exhausted. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
but overall, I gotta say, experience was amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but there are some modifications that I really hope the management does
Next
do.
year.
yeah.
And I mean, you know, you guys know us. Next year we're gonna be there again, so hopefully we're gonna have a much better time.
We'll find out next year
Yeah,
how
we're
how well it
gonna-
goes.
Without not delay, I don't want to delay anymore. Gabe, before we end off today's episode, I want to ask about you and kind of give us the customizer's perspective.
What was
towards
it
the
like to
MDX.
be
What was
entered
it? Yeah.
in the customization
How was it like? Yeah.
competition?
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, it's like custom competitions in Malaysia are organized mainly by this called Havoc Republic of Diecast.
Okay.
So they're awesome guys. They're all legends in the customizing community, and they do judging works nowadays. So they do a great service to the whole community in Southeast Asia in general, because these competitions that are facilitated by them, generate interest in doing custom works, right? And it's definitely impacted me as well. So I'm always very grateful that they do this. However, I think no event is perfect, and the custom competition, I think all the submissions and sort of like entering the customs and all were great. I think all of that has been been sort of gotten down to a science, and I think Havoc does it really well.
Right.
I think what kind of and this was really apparent that some of the other senior customizers in Singapore that were sort of watching the event through my videos and all that, they were saying there were a lot of repeat entries. So entries that had won previously in previous Havoc competitions were there again. And the judges felt the judges didn't really want to turn them away, because they know that these customs have come from all across the world. So there was one custom that did really well, and it's from Brunei. And
Okay.
do you really want to turn away a guy from Brunei who
Right.
spend the money to submit his work again, even though he's won previously? So that was an issue. Some repeat works. And when I mean repeat works, I mean works that have won before. Works that have been submitted previously but have not won before are okay, they're fair game.
Right.
In general, that's how customizers review it. I think the second issue is team builds. So, in
Like
the
when you have multiple different companies or groups that do
multiple
one
customizers
car.
working on one car,
Okay.
and that is a big sort of no-no. So I think a lot of customizers generally kind of frown upon that because it's not really honest. It's not really your work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like,
But is it a category to like? What would really be the issue of having a bunch of people work on one particular car?
Sure. I think
Because
the-
what if they all are different customizers, but they all belong to one
One team,
organization
one
or one
group.
team?
Yeah.
Right?
So, in general, there are many views about this and there are many opinions, but in general, from sort of the individual customizer, and most of us, a vast majority of us, are not Jakarta Diecast project. There's
Right.
multiple people. We are all individuals working on individual works. From our perspective, generally speaking, you don't enter works as a team and classify it as done by an individual.
Okay.
In fact,
is there categories where it's done individual or done as a team?
There are.
Are there categories that they can enter and that they shouldn't enter individual?
Can they submit
Yes.
it as like maybe instead of putting made by David, it could be made by Team
David.
Black Customs,
Whatever.
Yeah.
Will that okay?
I
If
think
they
that's
declare-
fine.
If they declare like it's made by a team,
But
It's-
maybe what I kind of feel is maybe it might be unfair.
Yes.
I think that's the word because let's say Gabriel submits one car, right?
okay.
That's the work effort done by one single person. But now you've got one car that's done by, let's say, 5 people, for example, right? There's lesser effort per person. In
But
a sense.
let me take it from another perspective. What happens if you beat them?
Sure. I mean, if
What
I-
does that say about that?
he
And
did beat them,
so
right?
I say, with the caliber of his work, you shouldn't be intimidated that 5 guys got together and did something because I think your work could still outdo them. So I would say for guys who want to push that kind of like aspect of it, that you should, if you're individual, you submit as individual. If you're a team, submit as a team. I say screw it. Let everybody submit to the individual, and then for guys who are as talented as Gabriel, blow them out of the water. Because honestly, in the world we live in, where people identify as love seats and couches and Slurpees, y'all shouldn't be worried because just do you. Do the best you know how to do, and let the world worry about itself. You know, because I mean, of course you're gonna have opinion. Everybody's gonna have opinion about why you shouldn't be competing with this category or this. But in the end, don't let it intimidate you.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that you can control unless it's your own personal
Of course
event.
not. No.
I don't think Gabriel is intimidated.
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not
I'm sure
intimidated.
he's confident.
I'm not intimidated, and you are absolutely right, John. There is no way to control this because you don't know, right?
there's no way to stop.
I'm gonna be honest here. A lot of customizers, especially in the wild category. So the wild category is when cars like this, so full white bodies, like
They do
full
everything to
customization.
it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anything is fair game. A lot of these people pay other people to do work for them.
Okay.
It does happen. I obviously not. I'm not gonna name names or name anyone, but I know it does happen. But I think for me, it's more of just like a fairness perspective as opposed to a creativity perspective. I think for me, Redowan is correct. I think one point is that there's less effort per person, right? And but I think the main thing is that it's just a matter of honesty. It's a matter of integrity. The fact that you are sort of using these external
Resources.
individuals, right?
Right,
External
right, right.
resources that you're not really
Right.
supposed to do, and you're entering a car, and basically you're a team of 5 people competing against each individuals, right? Of course, there are gonna be some individuals like Mizuo who are amazing, and they'll just blow you out of the water, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But particularly in the wild category, this is a problem. So an example that I always give is I'm not blaming the organizers of this event or anything, but the Singapore Diecast event, Diecast Expo last year in 2022, right?
Okay.
Right? 2023. Apologies. Yeah, 2023. It was an awesome event. I actually got 3rd place again for the mild category. And that was my fiat.
Damn.
But the main issue is that in the wild category, the winner of 1st place was a really awesome car, but it was done by a group of people. And in fact, the person who received the award had nothing to do with the car. He just brought it over.
I also noticed in the last year's competition for MDX, all the guys that had something really extraordinary never won at all. Like I saw the judges go through everything, and the judges are great guys. I know half of them. They got a keen eye, but at the same time, like regardless of who was the customizer of each car, because I don't know, and half the teams, there were so many entries, but I saw a table of cars that some of them were insane. Like you had to take 10 Hot Wheels to make that one cool thing, and it was outrageously wild. Like it was, and none of them won.
Yeah.
Like I think I saw some Mad Max type of style cars where it's like this and that attached to it. I'm just like, holy cow! It's like in crazy amount of time and effort it would have taken. And if that got applied to the one-to-one real car life, it would have won. Like if you took a 50s Cadillac and you decked it out and it had Mad Max this and that and it was huge and detailed, because it's so big and you got it done in time for the show, for sure in the real car world you would have been top tier. You would have won for sure.
Yeah.
But in 1/64th, it doesn't scale that way. It scales on who you know, not what you know.
Sometimes,
And
unfortunately,
it's like
sometimes that is
you're not being sometimes graded for your talent,
That's a very
right?
good point.
So is 3rd place really 3rd place, or is 3rd place 1st place because you're the one who did all the work? You're going up against these categories that really you shouldn't be competing with in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. So realistically, you shouldn't be upset at all that you only take third place. I would say that's a very high achievement
not accept.
because honestly, like you said, there's people in this category that shouldn't even be in the category.
Yeah.
So if you took them out, you probably would have walked away with first.
Yeah. But that's my point, right? My point stands in the sense that fairness and being very everyone on a level playing field as much as possible is extremely important in anything competitive.
Yeah.
So an example is that for Malaysia Diecast Expo this year in 2024, one of the winners of the wild category was one that won Hot Wheels that won the Art of Speed last year in 2023.
Okay.
And the judges were very reluctant to give him the award. He did a Mad Max like giant war rig, and it was beautiful. But he had won before. In fact, he got second place last year in 2023.
Right.
The judges were very reluctant, but because they know that he sent his works over from Brunei.
The same exact car.
Yes, he was like, you know what, fine, we'll just give it to him. But as a response to this, actually, Havoc has changed their rules for the upcoming Hot Wheels convention in Malaysia.
Okay.
So
okay.
I won't go through the rules in great detail right now, but it's really strict, and like they're very strict. Like only works done by individuals.
Yeah.
And only works that are brand new or have never won a competition before.
So do you think now going into 2025 for the next show, what are some things that you think would be a benefit for them? Should more categories? Should you create like group best team category, best individual competition, best mild, best wild, best outrageous?
Yes.
Should they just create more categories?
Oh, they've already done that. They've already done that.
So yeah, here's my question as well. Do you think they should do what John said, where you create like a bunch of categories, or do you think you stick to what you have now, but you have strict rules and regulations?
So
which do
yeah,
you
but
think is going to be
then a lot of
better?
people can't compete at all.
Well,
I mean,
actually,
but why would they not be able to compete? Because as long as you follow the damn rules, right? It's an individual project. It's never won before, so it levels the playing field.
Right. But what if GearOilCafe wants to commission something that a team of my people that have done? This guy does great paint. This guy does this. I get Gabriel to do this piece for me. I get the Black Crow Customs to do this, and then I enter for a team.
Then I think
So why can't I compete with a guy who's doing it individual by himself?
because that work isn't done by you.
But it's done by my team.
But he's saying, yeah, I do understand what you
Now,
mean.
now
right?
let's say he places higher than me. I think that the work should speak for itself.
Sure, but
So either create enough categories that everybody can compete with each other, or put us all in one playing field and just dog eat dog. If you can't create something that my team created better than you, then you should go back to your drawing board and check back again.
John with that. I think there's no harm in creating more categories, right?
More categories, I'm 100% down for. But if you're not going to create more categories, then put us all on the same playing field and no holds bars. Anything goes. Anybody brought anything from last year, this year, 2 years ago, whatever.
Open category.
Open category,
Yeah.
whatever. Mild versus wild. You think cleaner would beat a Mad Max fucking huge tank? Let's go.
Okay,
But
interesting.
maybe a dog eat dog category could be that.
Yeah.
Maybe they have 5 categories, and one of the categories of those 5, let's say for example, is anything against anything.
Yeah.
The best of the best versus the lowest or the cleanest of the cleanest.
Yeah.
Because last year I saw one of the guys who make the Mad Max lost to a very clean build.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know anything about person individual about customizing, but one of the categories I saw, one of the cars I saw, won because it was clean. It was very well put together, but it wasn't the most outrageously time-consuming build. So at the same time, it's like, I think that there's enough judges, or maybe just put more judges involved, because then you get more minds to go towards the same category.
right, more input.
More
Yeah.
input, right?
Yeah.
So then increase your judges, double up on the judges, get everybody to look at things in different perspective, and then say dog eat dog. Then I can just say, like, Team GrIDlock goes up against Gabriel and just himself and his own doings. And it's like, why can't we? Because you know what? It's going to be bittersweet when he kicks my ass. And I don't care. To me, it's just like, you know what? If I'm going this category, I'm expecting to go up against the best of the best, or people who've been doing this for 10 plus years versus, let's say my team is only a year old. And let's say everybody on there is very amateur, but together we can put something up kind of nice.
Right.
So I don't know, like,
Yeah, I
think
want
you
to know
can
your
hit it from another
opinion.
perspective like that.
Like,
I
from
think-
a customizer's perspective, what do you have to say? Yeah.
I think there's a lot of interesting points you made, John. I think we already have a dog eat dog category, which is mild and wild.
Okay,
Which is straight build, full repaint, and then wild, which is anything goes.
Right.
So the problem with that is because, especially in the wild category, where you can have these crazy war rigs that people do,
Right.
versus kind of my I like to do clean, just time attack cars, pack speed cars, Le Mans inspired. cars for my wild entries. So I think because of that, the judges, especially in Malaysia, where the competition is so fierce, because so many people do this for a living,
Yeah.
right? So they've run into the problem where now they are finding judging very difficult to do.
Right.
Because firstly,
So more categories.
the issue is when you submit works that have won before, sometimes the judges feel that they have no choice but to reward these works again.
Uh-huh.
Because they feel that
Nothing has come close to this anyway, so let's.
it's not just that, but
Might as
also
well.
they're
Might
going
as well.
Might
they're
as
going
well.
back against they're also going they also don't want to feel or I think okay, this is just my theory. I don't know how true this is. I've never asked them. But based on their response at the next Malaysia convention, I think I know what they're thinking. I think for them it's also going back on their word. It's like but this no, there's no work that's previously better than this.
Yeah.
So I have no choice but to give this award to this work again. But
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want
But
to
maybe by adding more judges, you kind of, I don't know, file it down a bit.
Yeah.
Like where like if you have 5 judges, maybe you double up to 10 judges. Now you got 10 different outlooks on perspectives because maybe 2 of those new 5 have not seen last year's submissions, and maybe 3 from the last one have. So they're like, oh, well, this guy won. He's really good. But these guys like, you know what? He's good, but it's like too overdone, or this colors are too retro, and it could be cleaner. I think by adding more opinions and judges and professional outlooks on each of these pieces, I think maybe that could do a better job on who really should win these things.
That's interesting. Bjorn, what do you have to say about this? What do you think? I really want to, because I see you're like turning around and
Yeah, that was-
trying to absorb everything. So
It's very interesting because like this is a part of customizing that
Yeah.
I guess I've never really like
Right,
thought
right,
of
yeah,
and
right,
explored.
right.
But I think it all boils down. I think maybe there's a strong point to having more categories.
Right,
but then
right.
of course, like they need more judges and stuff,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like make things worse.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting to see how this will develop. I mean, this
Yeah.
mild and wild thing didn't exist.
Like to me,
before, right?
I think that like as from a GearOilCafe perspective, I don't customize cars.
Right,
But
right.
anything that we've done or commissioned for any particular, whether it's for a client or anything like that, to me, I would have fun just being able to enter. But the work's not my own, so I can never say John Dale did this, but I can say Team GearOilCafe did it, and I partnered with some of the best in the industry to create something. But you're right. Unless you're going to create a doggy dog category, I should be in a business category where businesses and teams go up against
team category.
Team category. Sorry.
he's got something he needs to say.
Well,
What's up?
something clicked in my brain. You know, like car shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe some people like go to a workshop and they, hey, I want this design.
Yeah.
So they're the one that
Yeah, build versus
wraps the
build.
car,
Yeah.
you know, and
Right.
then they bring it to a car show where it's stacked.
Usually, it's
and
not one
you know,
individual builder who's building
the
real
driver
cars.
is the one that drives the
Team.
car,
It's
but it's
always
not
a team.
Right, it's always
it's
a
not
team.
him that maybe it's the workshop people that did his car, but he's the one that's driving the car, the
Yeah.
Sirocco or whatever, and then he won.
Yeah.
So
Of
maybe
course,
we
it has to
can.
be a zero.
That's the best kind of game I like. That's the best kind
Yeah,
of game
but
I like.
I get it.
So
get
I
it,
guess
yeah.
John has a point where maybe people just have fun in.
I just want to have fun and participate, but I
So,
don't get to because
I guess
usually
there's
that's the reason why.
something
Right.
there. Maybe there's something
Yeah.
there to
No, yeah, it's
see,
very. I gotta say, it's very interesting. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's very nice once again to see different perspectives, right?
Yeah, I love this.
That's the whole purpose of this show.
The whole idea of the show is to
Yeah.
get you all thinking about these different things.
Exactly,
because
exactly.
we
And-
don't normally discuss this, and it's like sometimes we touch on subjects that
It's
are a
like
little
taboo,
bit
taboo.
faux pas,
Yeah.
taboo, whatever. And it's like, I think that's why this was such a good episode too.
And
like,
before we
agree.
end off,
It
I
was
just want to say
good.
one
It
thing,
was good.
and that is value.
Mm.
Now, here's what I mean. Let's say you do commission a piece,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It might not be as value to you as when Gabriel does his
Totally.
piece, right?
Because this is like my handcrafted.
exactly.
I did this. First, your teammate's like, okay, I didn't do this,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah.
a bunch
Right.
of guys did.
Right? It's same
Right.
with the Sirocco thing.
That's it.
Right? You've got like youth automotive YouTubers that do that, like they mod
That's
their
how he
own
dri-
cars
actually
and
drives
stuff,
it.
right? So to them, their cars make a lot of difference, right? Like for example, I don't know if you guys know this YouTuber called Stradman. He's actually right now he's working on his Ferrari right now. So he took out the engine and the transmissions. And so
Him himself or
He
his
himself.
team? Oh, so
So-
that's him. Okay.
So
that's
he
him.
and his girlfriend actually spent.
Oh,
So
wow,
they got a
that's
new
nice,
lift
yeah.
in, and they,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so they're working on the car.
Yeah, I
So-
follow him.
So the thing is,
Really
right
cool.
now, for him, the car means a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the
it's
whole
like a-
reason why people in the car industry say built, not bought.
Exactly.
Right?
And
But at
so-
the same time, there's still always the arguments.
Exactly.
Just like,
And-
you know, I've got $1 million of daddy's money. Why can't I have the coolest car that wins all the car shows?
Daddy's money. But yeah, essentially,
I ain't got daddy's
at
money.
the I did not want to. But at the end of the day, I think it does boil down to perspective. I think
Yeah.
all of this, everything that we've spoken about, it's all about perspective, right? There's also that unwritten rule that's amongst like customizers per se. I think we've spoken about that before as well. And so at the end of the day, I think what I would like to say is be respectful. I think that's very important.
We're all doing this to have fun. We don't win a monetary prize all the time. Sometimes it's just bragging rights, the fact that you got even recognized by your peers. But because we do these shows for individual and to be community and to introduce people into the hobby and stuff like that, realistically, your trophy doesn't just stand to be a testament for your own personal accomplishments. It should stand as a testament to saying, look, a little bit of hard work and determination, you can do this, and then, hey, if you like cars, go into customizing cars, and you can get recognized. But you're being recognized by your peers, which is cool. Right? So,
actually, before we end, I wanted to say one thing as well, which is, Bjorn, I have the answer to your question about more categories or not. And so what the organizers are doing at the next Hobbies Convention in Malaysia is they are actually doing more categories.
Alright.
So-
There you go. There you go.
So
I like this.
and they're making each category stricter
Okay.
to weed out repeat entries. So
Right.
mild,
That's good.
So for the mild category, this year is only JDMs. So,
Okay.
yes. Then for the wild, hold on. For the wild, hold on, hang on. I haven't finished yet. For the wild category is all muscle cars.
Okay.
And then we also have because Dwayne Vance is coming. It's already public knowledge. Dwayne Vance, Hot Wheels designer, he did the 68 custom Camaro. He's coming to Malaysia as a guest of honor. So there's a Dwayne Vance open category.
Wow.
Any casting, any
okay.
Hot Wheels product designed by Dwayne Vance, open season.
Hey, that's cool.
Go ham, go crazy.
Yeah.
And then the last category is a full open category, any mechanical subject, as long as it has the Hot Wheels logo on it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
that's pretty cool.
So I think
That's
that's a
That
brilliant
kind of
step,
that kind of answers a lot of question, right? But I mean, I don't want to feel bad. I don't want people to feel bad that GrillCafe wants to enter. I just want to participate sometimes because I'm not a customizer.
That's fair.
But I have a lot of creativity. My AQ is like amazing. I can think of shit. That, I'm not gonna fill my own boat per se, but I'm a really creative guy. So it's like I don't know how to apply all the things like deckling and paint stuff, and I don't have the tools to do it. But I know how to put what I have in my mind. Envision. I know how to envision it. And when I'm explaining something, it's like, look. I was even talking to Gabriel from the last episode. We were talking when we were grabbing coffee for the guys, and I said, "You're like so cool if we can do like a lightning with like a track spec spoiler and something like that." I have this envision in my mind where I can tell you exactly what you need to do, but I don't have the ability or skill to implement it.
Right.
So is it bad that I want to take my vision in my mind to put in the car and then enter the competition because it is my brainchild?
Yeah.
Or should I feel bad that I'm taking the trophy away from a guy who's working all himself and doing it for himself?
Once again, I
I
think
don't have an answer to that.
I don't think it has an answer. I think it's all very subjective, and
perspective.
haters gonna hate and ainers gonna hate.
and potatoes gonna potato. Right.
Whatever. Besides, that's horrible.
But essentially, I think it once again boils down to perspective. I don't want to repeat, but it's essentially just perspective, right? But that should wrap up the video, guys.
That's it.
This has been
long enough.
Magnificent video.
That's probably my favorite subject we've talked about.
And once again,
just
amazingly enough, we've kind of opened up the entire realm of customizing, and with events and more events to come. I'm sure a lot of events in Malaysia. Singapore Diecast Expo is coming over as well.
Sepak Geylang.
Sepak Geylang as well. I'm super excited.
That's probably gonna have a competition too.
So I'm really looking forward to all of these events to see how the events play out. Right. I'm also. And all the best to you, Gabriel, for your upcoming competition. I think you're gonna go to all of it.
Hey, maybe in GrillCafe it takes a more active step towards customizing cool stuff.
I look forward to that.
Because don't get me wrong, like you guys came to my grand opening I had, and I had customization pieces that I had, and you guys loved them, right? I don't want to take away from your experiences. I don't want to take them from your trophies and awards. But my awards, that anything GrillCafe wins, I pay it forward to all the community.
Right.
It's not like saying, "Oh no, I did this. This is mine." No. If somebody did it, y'all know who the designer is, and I will pay credit. Now, do I get enjoyment out of looking at the trophy that we've earned as a team? 100%.
For sure,
I love it. I think it's fun, and I think that if I can have fun doing it, why can't my brainchild become reality, right?
Exactly.
That's a relief for everyone.
I know I ain't gonna beat Gabriel, but maybe I can come third.
And just like guys, we've come to the end of the video. Now, before we end, I want to thank Gabriel once again. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you had fun.
I had a lot of fun.
Good.
We sure had a lot of fun.
That was good.
And let me know in the comments if you guys agree on what we spoke about. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions.
Can GearOilCafe participate in the Sipaku Gay Long competition?
Let
me know.
Comments, yeah.
I'll do it if enough of you guys approve. If
Yeah.
not, saying no, it's not for you.
But essentially, if you have any questions as well, please let us know.
Yeah,
We'll be more
let
than
us know,
happy
let us know.
to reply to to engage with all of you. I think we do love the engagement right here in the channel.
It's
Social
been great.
interaction.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah,
great.
so
It's been
once
great.
again, all our socials are going to be in the description down below. Gabriel as well, or Black Bandit SG, right?
Yeah, follow
I'm
me.
gonna-
I like to call him the Black Bandit now. That's what it is. We got DJ DrifterD. You got the Black Bandit
We
over
got
there.
BB.
Yeah.
We got your boy BB on the side.
But,
Next episode he's gonna wear a black mask.
but essentially, do support him on Instagram, on TikTok.
Yeah,
well.
show your support, please.
But essentially, that's gonna wrap up the video. Just let I get this over.
Yeah.
Right. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out.
Bye bye.
Peace.